Welcome to another exciting edition of Keys to the Game, brought to you by Wentz Orthodontics. Brian Jensen, John Harris, Chris Level, the Texas Tech Sports Network crew with you for the conference opener, the Red Raiders against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, in a game where the Red Raiders come in 3-0 after the win over Houston. Oklahoma State, expected to, well, by some, to run away with the Big 12, suffered a loss for the first time to TCU in their conference opener a week ago. So maybe the keys have changed just a little bit, maybe not. Let's get started with this guy.
You know, the Red Raiders have some great wide receivers, and we've seen that, and we've seen what throwing the ball and getting the ball in the hands of those guys can do for you offensively and for momentum. And I think you look back at the past few games against Oklahoma State, what have they done to the Red Raiders to get momentum on their side? They've got some great receivers, too. James Washington is the one that starts. I mean, in the vicinity of 500 career receiving yards against the Red Raiders and a whole bunch of touchdowns. You just can't let that guy run loose on the field and get him the ball, because all of the momentum swings to the Cowboys' side, plus they light the scoreboard up. He's not the only wide receiver they've got who's awfully good, and they've got a great quarterback who can throw him the ball. But I think you got to find a way to keep Mason Rudolph out of sync. I mean, pressure the guy some, make him move around in the pocket, don't let him get comfortable, and don't let him find those wide receivers, because when they get those guys the ball, really good things happen for them.
But hasn't not getting it to James Washington been a key for the last 3 years, too?
Yes, it has, and we're still trying to sort that problem out. But, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you look at that game a few years ago where he had, 5 catches of 40 or more yards in the ball game. It's hard to keep it out of his hands. You can double him, but then what does that do elsewhere? But I just think you got to find a way to not let him dominate the game as a wide receiver.
Makes sense. Let's move now to Chris.
Went on third down. You know, you look at Tech and Houston last week, 4 of 16 on third down. That's not going to get it done. I think Coach Kingsbury was just shocked and embarrassed by that stat, but you figure out a way to get a win. Now, Oklahoma State is not good when it comes down to third down defense. 112th in the country. If you look at what TCU and Tulsa both did, they converted their third down 60% of the time. I think converting third downs keeps your defense off the field. It keeps James Washington off the field, and I think you've got to, again, shorten the game just a little bit. And this is one of those teams I don't think you want to fiddle with and get into a shootout with. But I think winning on third down will go a long way to getting a win.
Of course, shortening the game in this game has been very difficult over the last, decade or so?
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, 2 years ago, 70 to 53? Yeah. So we don't want to get into those games anymore. And I think finally you have a defense now that's going to keep you in games, help you win games, and can sustain a battle like that. But, again, winning on third down, it helped to win the turnover battle too. But that, I feel like I'm Captain Cliche if I say that.
Now you're getting that. Wait. I got to have some keys left, right? And I think it's making sure you take advantage of the opportunities, whatever those opportunities are. So let's say, for example, it's turnovers. Red Raiders have figured out the way to get turnovers this season. They got to keep that going. But when you get that turnover, got to turn it into a score. When you get that score, you got to get the extra point. Last year, when you have punt, you don't allow a return. Kickoff, after you've scored, you don't allow a big return to give them field position. So it's taking advantage of the opportunities that you are presented throughout a game like this, because there are going to be so many, that I think is, a key to the game. This has been Keys to the Game. Make sure when you watch the night game, a blackout, sellout at Jones AT&T, you listen to the Texas Tech Sports Network crew, won't you?